most days I will just wear the bare minimum amount of makeup needed to make myself not look like a dead Victorian ghost child. What's up, witches? I woke up like this. I've been so busy the past few weeks prepping for my first ever pagan gathering, celebrating Ostara, all of that fun stuff. I had an amazing weekend and I have this whole week off of my full-time job so that I can prep and get ready for the next one, which is tomorrow. Because as I've said, I never do anything by halves. So, since tomorrow is Friday, I will be leaving for yet another adventure. I thought it would be fun to do another type of video that I like to watch on YouTube a lot, which is just makeup tutorials, makeup reviews, and like chit chat, get ready with me videos. So for this week, I thought I would do a Freya Friday video because I picked up a lot of new makeup products to bring with me to the witchy retreat that I'm going on this weekend, which should be a lot of fun. I think it's just going to be like one big witchy slumber party. I'll get to do all of the arts and crafts, or witchcrafting as I like to call it now, to my heart's content. I picked up some new makeup at just the drugstore yesterday to try. So I thought I would do a little chit chat, get ready with me video while I test out some new products that I've never tried before, give you some thoughts and opinions on them, because I really like makeup and just playing with makeup. In my free time, I watch just a lot of tutorials because I don't have any skills to speak of myself. And now, since deciding to become a pagan and working really closely with Freya, I definitely see playing with makeup and beauty as a type of glamour magic. As the great RuPaul says, we're all born naked and the rest is drag. So I like to consider putting on makeup, or just even selecting a certain outfit to wear for the day, or a certain color to wear depending on what your mood is or what type of mood you want to project to the world. And that's just all a type of glamour magic if you think about it. We're all just trying to present that certain front. Or when I was like getting into like full ritual garb or whatnot, we call it, me and my friend called it getting into witchy drag. Third take. See how many cat interruptions I get this time. As you can see, unlike usual, I have no makeup on right now, so we will test some products. So before I start putting stuff on my face, I usually like to do at least a little bit of skin prep. I don't have the time or patience or attention span to remember to be super religious or fanatical about a skincare routine, but I try to at least, pamper myself a little bit. I definitely consider it to be part of a relaxing self-care routine. So I thought I would show you just my holy grail standbys that I use for skincare that I've been using for a few years now and just keep going back to because they're easy and affordable and they work. So the first one that I will usually use in the morning or at night, just whenever I want to cleanse my skin, take off makeup, whatever, is just some witch hazel toner. And I like this Thayer's brand facial toner with witch hazel. You can just buy like straight up witch hazel at the drugstore. I like this one because it has rose water in it as well, so it just has a nice floral scent. But the important thing about this one is that it's alcohol free, because if you buy some that has alcohol in it, it can actually be super drying to your skin. And I have dry to like normal skin, I would say, usually on the dry side. So I try to avoid anything with ingredients that might dry out my skin even more. But the thing I like about witch hazel is that it's natural, for one thing, and it acts as a astringent, which just means that it helps to cleanse and is really good for reducing redness and helping just with like mildly cleansing the oils off your face, so to help with blemishes and whatnot, but without being super stripping or harsh. So what I usually do is just put some on a little cotton pad and wipe down my face, get off any dirt, and I tend to get like a lot of redness around here and on my chin, and I burn really easily here. As you can see, I'm a little bit red still, even though I was trying to be super religious about the sunscreen this weekend, since I was outdoors hiking in the sun a lot. But yeah, I always burn really easily right here just because I'm so fair, thanks Anglo-Saxon genetics. But after that, depending on how messed up my skin is looking, which is looking fairly clear right now. I was doing some skin masks last night. The other thing that I've been liking to use is this Pixie Glow Tonic, because it has glycolic acid in it, so it's like a chemical exfoliating toner. Because one thing I had started to notice is that luckily, even growing up as a teenager, I never really had a huge problem with like acne or pimples. The main thing that I usually deal with is like hormonal breakouts, so I'll get them like on my chin or like around here a lot, but it's kind of just like a stray zit here and there. So the chemical exfoliating toner has been really good for that. It's still super mild because my skin is really sensitive, and so I would recommend only using it like maybe once every other week to start off. That works for me, for my skin type, and then usually I will follow it up with this Pixie Milky like hydrating mist, which has hyaluronic acid and oat, which I know oat and oatmeal are also really good and soothing for your skin. So let's get into the good stuff, all the new stuff. The first thing that is just this e.l.f. poreless face primer. They had several different formulas in the store. I just picked up this little guy. It was like $6. You know, e.l.f. is super cheap and they're pretty widely available now. So I like to go with them for things like a primer, which I don't normally use. I normally don't wear a lot of makeup at all. And if I do, it's usually something light, like a tinted moisturizer, or I'll just slap some concealer on. I normally don't wear a lot of makeup, and I don't even wear foundation a lot. For camera purposes or photography purposes, one thing that I definitely have noticed is that the camera washes things out really easily. So it's kind of like not as extreme as like all-out theater makeup where you're painting for the back row. But even just for like taking pictures or being on camera to make a video, I've noticed that you can get away with wearing a lot more makeup than you would normally think you need, especially where photography is concerned. So I'm planning on maybe having some photographs taken soon, and I wanted to play with some, what do you want to call it, heavier, more opaque makeup. So I picked up some foundation, concealer, and this e.l.f. primer to try. I don't really give a fuck if you have the time of day and wherewithal to notice that I have pores, or notice any minor flaw on someone and not only like pay attention to it and scrutinize it, but call them out for it. I feel like nowadays my attitude is, that's more on you, bud. You need to get a life. That being said, I also like playing with makeup and pretty things, so that's why we're here. And so, aesthetic makeup dispensing shot. Let's see. So I got this poreless primer, and I think I'm just gonna put it on my nose and under my eyes and in those places where my makeup usually doesn't sit as well because it just wants to fill in all those little pores and emphasize them, which luckily you can't really see on camera too much. I am liking the texture of this primer. It felt a little heavy at first, but the more I was rubbing it in, the more it really just started to glide on very smoothly. It has a little bit of a weird scent. Like, it doesn't really smell like anything. It just kind of has maybe a slight chemical slash almost tea tree smell. Yeah, I kind of just ended up rather blending it in everywhere, but concentrating mostly on the center here. So we'll see how that does. It does seem to have, I can already see where it's filled in these pores here. The next thing I picked up is this Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, and I got the dewy formula. It had a dewy and a matte, but I already have really dry skin, so I don't usually like to mattify it anymore per se. I don't really have a problem with oily skin, so I went for the dewy formula. Ooh, it comes with this interesting little spatula on the inside. I got the palest shade that I could find, which was porcelain, which it says is fair and warm, so we'll see. My skin is not only very fair, but I feel like also a weird undertone, so it's kind of hard for me to find foundations that work well as a shade match. So I guess I'm just gonna put this on and go to town. And this little sponge. I have a bigger beauty blender, but it's in a travel case right now because I'm mid-packing for Moon Weekend. I can't remember the last time I spent a good amount of time with other women or girls, let alone doing anything witchcraft related, since I'm still so new at that. I'd say this foundation is definitely pretty lightweight, light to medium coverage. We'll see how it builds up. It's given me a good base of coverage here. You can see still a little bit of my redness peeking through, but the e.l.f. primer has done a good job of kind of helping it blend without just filling in all my pores. These little baby hairs around my hairline. You guys, I love playing with makeup, but I'm looking at I have a little light up mirror over here that's really useful for seeing what I'm doing. But at the same time, don't get one, because being able to look at yourself up close also just kind of makes me aware of all those little fine lines and wrinkles and the foundation and things like that I never really notice or pay attention to as much day to day. Not that I really try to care about that, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I hover back and forth between being really insecure and, as a result, just hyper conscious of how I look. But that's part of why playing with makeup is also fun for me, especially because I'm really short and petite, and I've always just looked a lot younger than I am, which is kind of nice now. I mean, damn everybody for being right, because when I was younger and people would people would say, well, you'll love it when you get older, when you get to be my age. Adults would always say that. And at the time, it would just really grind my gears. But damn if they weren't right. Because now that I'm in my 30s, I can't say I hate looking younger than I am. But makeup also became a really fun way for me to, kind of almost play with glamour magic. And because you can age yourself up, you can make yourself look younger. I started just mostly playing with lipstick as an easy go-to way of A, making myself look put together without a lot of effort for work, and B, just kind of adding more maturity to my look, because I feel like, lip gloss be poppin' and whatnot is more of a younger thing, and so putting on a nice matte liquid lipstick just made me feel more like boss bitch when I had to be in the office adulting. It's just always something that I have enjoyed playing with now in my free time, and especially since working with Freya and starting to make YouTube videos, it's just become a really fun excuse to play with all of this makeup that I already have and buy and spend money on that I shouldn't be. So it is what it is. It might have been a little bit better if I had used a damp sponge or my damp beauty blender. I'm not sure. Things just tend to be iffy on my skin, which is why I think I just gave up wearing foundation altogether for the most part, because my nose right here, even with the primer, it's just settling really weird and breaking up. It just doesn't seem to want to set into my skin in certain areas, especially around the mouth, and my chin is just another trouble spot because it's just one of my really dry areas. So I just have a lot of trouble getting foundations to sit well in that area. There's definitely some creasing going on around here, and my under eyes are also, I not only have dark circles, but there's just also really dry skin right here in the corners that I have trouble getting concealer and things to sit right on. So I'm just still really on the hunt for a good under eye concealer that works with my skin texture, because I'm definitely starting to get some crepiness. I have really hooded eyes. And also because I'm so fair, one thing that I've noticed is that I would always feel like my skin looks uneven or almost sickly, the whole dead Victorian ghost child look, because I'm so fair that it's very thin in places, and so you can see the veins and things underneath, especially around my eyes and whatnot. And so that's another area where just a lightweight tinted moisturizer or even just some concealer in those areas is usually helpful for me, just because I feel like it evens out my skin tone and just makes me look more alive. The other new thing that I picked up to try is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. And so it says this has a satin finish, and I also once again picked up the lightest color they had. And so we will see how this compares to that CoverGirl formula. I'm gonna try just a little bit in the corners of my eyes, because I have found it usually works a little better for me if I just start in the corners, in those really dark shadowy spots. And honestly, for me, with the ColourPop and those thicker, more dry, I found they dry down really quickly as well. So with those formulas, I found sometimes just using a little brush was the best way to apply. The sponge, I found just kind of ended up taking away coverage the more I used it. And so honestly, for me, the best method that I have found for me to apply my under eye concealer is just to use my ring finger, because it just gives it that warmth from your hand to blend it without taking away any of the coverage and just blend it really easily into the corners, and then I'll just kind of take the excess and use it as like a eyeshadow base, because the skin on my eyelids is also really thin. I have a fun problem, whereas the skin on my under eyes is kind of thin and dry. The skin on my eyelids, because they're very hooded, tends to be very oily, and I have a big problem with eyeshadow creasing up here. So, first world problems, am I right? I am liking this formula so far. I feel like I might still want a little bit of powder just to see if that will set it a bit, because I still want to crease and settle in my fine lines down here. But I'm not finding it to look super drying. I think I need a little bit of a fairer shade, actually, in terms if we're talking about wanting to brighten up the under eye. See, yeah, look, I feel like it's just taking away the coverage now with the sponge. Yeah, I don't know. I just have this weird problem in my under eye area where I feel like every concealer I try doesn't want to sit there. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's just like it's not covering. It's looking really broken. It doesn't want to set. And the more I try to apply, whether it be with my finger or the sponge, the more it's just taking away that coverage. And I feel like then you're just applying and applying and applying, and it looks really cakey. Oh, I can't win. The other issue is I feel like it's also just a little bit too dark for me, so it's not brightening the way I'd like. But the other thing I have found sometimes, I'm going to go in with this L'Oreal True Match Corrector Cream. It has 0.5% hyaluronic acid in it, which is moisturizing. So I've been trying that for an under eye concealer. It's a lot more like liquid. And it has a little bit, this one has a little bit more of a peachy tone to it, but that can sometimes be better for color correcting those dark circles. So I'm going to try it. I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle here now. I'm not really trying to cake on the makeup, even for something like this where I'm going for a more full coverage look. Alright, so I'm gonna go in with some more of that e.l.f. primer, even though, I feel like this e.l.f. is a bit too yellow. I'm gonna try to almost press it in. Here's some morning doves cooing outside. Had a beautiful weekend in Ohio, offering to Bonnier. Goddesses of spring. Weather was beautiful, and right before we left to come back, my husband and I was also exploring the space with me now. Stopped and did a little quick offering to Thor on our way home for protection on our travels, because he seems to be the only one Loki makes himself scarce around most times. So we did a little Thor offering for protection before we left, and now we had some thunderstorms, big thunderstorms roll through the other day, and some rain the whole time that we've been home. So I'd say our rituals definitely worked. Be careful what you wish for sometimes, guys, because it's been nothing but rain and clouds. But it was a little bit stormy and windy. We had this big storm front come through yesterday, but even then, it wasn't severe, surprisingly, for being spring, and so it was it's almost more comforting and reassuring, even for me who's usually scared of thunderstorms. I just felt like all our prayers for the renewal of life and fertility were answered this weekend, and so they're bringing the rain now to water all those spring flowers. So I planted some tulip bulbs a few weeks ago, so I'm very excited to see how those do. But alright, yeah, you can tell where that concealer was a little too dark, and it's oxidizing really weirdly around my eyes, which I don't love. Travel makeup case so I can bring all of my goodies with me this weekend. Oh. And this is just the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. It's really messy. It's not new. I don't wear powder a lot because, again, dry skin. And I don't wear foundation most days either. But this is just a fair translucent loose powder, so we'll see if it can help me brighten this under eye area a bit more. And then I'm also gonna set under here really quick while I'm at it for some added coverage, because this powder I found is just also really good at blurring those trouble spots where my foundation might not be looking the best up close, but hey, looks fine on camera. Alright. Well, I was gonna maybe put some of this on my nose to help conceal that redness, but it's just, even for being the fairest shade they had, just a little too dark for me still. Or at least too yellow, I think, is the problem. So, instead, actually, let me grab that other one I was telling you guys about. As I said, it's been a whole saga, so I will try some of it here. Because the other issue I have noticed that I run into a lot with under eye concealers is I wear contacts, and so sometimes if on the other hand they're like too liquidy and they don't set well enough, it will bleed onto my contact lens, and then you're walking around with blurred vision the whole time, and that's not really what we're going for. I need my contacts to see. So even with the powder, it's not looking great up close. I feel like that e.l.f. primer has definitely helped in terms of like smoothing and filling my pores, but I'm not sure if it's also interfering in the foundation setting on my skin the way it should. Because I feel like over here on my cheeks, that Wet n Wild foundation looks okay. Still not great in terms of the coverage over here. NYX Epic Wear Liner. I've used it maybe once before after I ordered it online. This minty green color is just like one of my all-time favorite colors. So I'm gonna put down a little base. I have really hooded eyes, and so for a long time, I spent many a year watching Beauty Guru makeup tutorials and trying to replicate looks on myself, and giving up in dismay because I could never figure out why their I could never get my eye makeup to look like theirs did. And then I realized that it's because when my eyes are open, they're so hooded that you can't see any of the lid. So I could spend hours and hours doing all these fancy eye looks, smoky eye, wing liner, all those different trends, halo eye, whatever it is. And then it's like the minute I open my eyeballs, it's gone. So now I kind of just try to do my own thing, do what works for me. I still love watching tutorials just for tips and tricks as far as application goes, and I like watching people like Taylor Wynn who review makeup before I go out and spend all my money on it, so I know what I want to go out and spend my money on. But I really like this Epic Epic Wear eyeliner stick. Very pigmented, glides on super smooth, which is good for someone like me with really dry, creepy lids. It wasn't a struggle to apply. I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop Candy Castle Candyland inspired palette, which, you know, my cute girly goth ass had to have as soon as I learned it was a thing that existed, just because I love pastel colors. I love mint green, in which it has that color in there, and I'm going to take that on this flat brush and just press it over. Because by itself, this palette is not very pigmented. I mean, it's friggin' pastel, so I think that's kind of an oxymoron. It's damn near impossible to have a highly pigmented pastel palette. If one exists, please let me know, because I need some lavenders and some pastel pinks and blues in my life, going for pastel Easter vibes with this look. And it matches my nail polish, so hey yo. This is one of my favorite colors. I don't know if it goes with my skin tone or if I can actually pull off wearing it, but hey, don't let that stop you. Live your best life. I have small features. My eyebrows sit very close, far down on my brow bone, of which I don't really have much of one anyway. So trying to just copy everyday makeup artists off of YouTube was definitely a fruitless struggle for me. And now I just do what I want. It's also very annoying because one thing that I have found is that my eyes are like varying degrees of hooded. And kind of like hooded in different ways. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like this eyelid droops down a lot further in the corner here than this one does. This one's more droopy here in the middle. So usually what I've found nowadays is that when I'm going to put on eye makeup, I usually have to apply it with my eyes open so that I can make sure I'm applying the eyeshadow where I actually want it to sit or be visible when I have my eyes open and not walking around. Once again, I feel like the art of glamour is involved, just because, like, especially, like, this is a little bit easier because I'm just doing, like, one solid color across the whole eye, which isn't anything special, but, like, when I'm trying to, you know, do transition colors and crease colors and things like that, one thing I have definitely found is that, yeah, I have to apply it with the way my eyes will look when they're open in mind, and also use the shadows and the brushes and shading to create an illusion to kind of even the eyelids out, account for the different ways in which they hood and droop, so that I can make sure that I'm still creating a symmetrical look with the shadows. Trying to look and see if I have anything else new while I'm thinking about it. Before we get to lips, which I usually leave for last, the other new thing that I did pick up from e.l.f. is this little exfoliating lip scrub in the form of a little lipstick bullet, which I thought was cool. Yeah, very dry lips, especially this time of year, especially after being out hiking in the sun, standing around a fire outside for the last weekend. My lips were definitely in crisis mode, but instead of a little like lip scrub in a pot where you gotta like get it all over your finger and like smear it all around, I loved the idea of just having it in a little handy dandy, easy to carry around and travel with bullet. A couple different scents / flavors. I got sweet cherry, which is just this pink one, and you can definitely feel grittiness in there. You can tell that the bullet is wanting to come out, but you know what you pay for. And it definitely just feels like there's some type of nourishing base there. I'm not sure what the base of the little lip balm is. It has the sugar scrub in it, but definitely very both exfoliating and moisturizing, which is nice. So does the job. Be careful though, pushing the lipstick bullet up and down, because I don't think it's very big. I could already tell that it was kind of like wiggling around and wanting to pop out if I had screwed it up anymore. So just something to be aware of, but it does the job. Alright, so to finish off this eye work, man, does anyone else just start getting a headache after wearing a headband for any amount of time? I feel like it just immediately starts pressing right there on your temples. So this is my McQueen New York waterproof pen eyeliner, which is a Korean brand. I got it off of Yes Style because I am a total whore when it comes to Asian beauty. I love Korean and Japanese makeup. I feel like their skin care and like natural beauty game is just on point. So what I'm doing is just getting real up close in my mirror here and tight lining my waterline. And once again, with my eyes open, I'm gonna flick it out slightly on the ends. I can't really, it's hard for me to do like a full like wing liner because of the way my eyes are hooded. It droops down in the corners here. But the other thing that I bought at the drugstore to try is a new mascara. This is the Maybelline Sky High mascara. I believe it's new, but I just saw in Taylor Wynn's new video where she was hunting for this one to try it, because apparently it's the must-have mascara right now. So when I saw it in the store, I had to grab it to try for myself. The bottle reminds me a little bit of like the Benefit. Is it Benefit or no? It's the Too Faced Better Than Sex, and also the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. L'Oreal Voluminous is usually my holy grail mascara, but I'm always trying out new ones because I like mascara a lot. It's usually one of the few things that I will put on even when I'm not wearing a lot of makeup. It's just like concealer and some type of shadow and mascara and blush, and I'm out the door. So it's got a little rubber tip wand, which is usually what I have found preferable for my lashes. I have fairly long lashes, and so I usually go for more of a volumizing formula rather than lengthening. And I like the rubber tip mascara wands because they tend to be a little bit better at separating, because I am not a fan of the spider tarantula lash look myself. I like them to be full and soft and separated. Well, we'll have to go back in with a second coat, but so far I'm not really getting the whole sky high part. To me, that denotes lengthening. I would think that would mean this would be a very lengthening formula of mascara, but I'm not really seeing that. Like, the brush is doing it, and the formula is doing a good job of coating my lashes, making them look more voluminous and thicker. But in terms of lengthening, not so much. The brush also isn't doing much for me in terms of curling. I don't believe in lash curlers, but I do like a mascara brush that has a little bit of a curling effect to it. But yeah, I'm not impressed so far, Maybelline. This is, I think, going to be a miss for me. I don't like it as much as other mascaras that I use and that I've tried. So maybe I should have held off on that part anyway, because the other thing that I bought to try and I'm going to bring to the moon weekend with me is false lashes. I have never worn false lashes before or ever tried to apply them in my life, because the idea of putting glue near my eyeballs terrifies me. I figured for a little witchy photography session this weekend, why not go all out and try something? So I bought these Kiss Falscara little wispy corner lashes, and they come in like short, medium, and long lengths. I don't really feel brave enough to go for the full on strip lash, and because much like eyelash curlers, I normally don't really see a point in wearing false lashes. Like, don't get me wrong, makeup is definitely something I do for me and not for, that whole male gaze bullshit. Like, I wear makeup for me and because I look pretty and I like the way it looks. So I definitely don't adhere to that whole... It weirds me out to think that women only started wearing like makeup and especially like false lashes because being able to seen as having like full thick hair and like full healthy lashes is just a sign of youth and vitality. When it gets to the point, like, I feel like no guy or person really is ever gonna like look at a girl with like a full strip of like full false like 301 drag queen tarantula lashes and be like, yes, that's what I want in a mate. If she doesn't have full-on curtain lash, then she's just defective. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like anyone notices that, let alone guys, and that's not who it's for. But since I like makeup and beauty, and I feel like it could be very dramatic for photography purposes, why not try something new? So, I have the Duo, classic Duo goes on white lash glue, and I'm going to try... I've watched this many times before, never have attempted myself, so let's see how this goes. And I'm going to put some of the glue on the back of my hand, and my party is supposed to wait until it's a little tacky. Interesting. Okay, let's try another one. It seems to have gone on easily and stuck into place connections with a little very small band for people with very small eyes like me. So that one was fairly easy to apply. I feel like for a first timer trying to apply a whole strip lash might be a little intimidating. I'm kind of digging this, you guys. Like, they're very subtle. Like, that was the other thing I kind of worry about, having such heavy hooded eyes and such small eyes, is, you know, if I was to go with this full on, like, super long lash, it would be like covering up my eyebrow and just look crazy. So, I like that these are the mediums, and they're still not too crazy long. And do the other eye. But so far, so good. And then I'm just kind of, dragging it through the glue, wipe off a little bit of the excess. Wait a minute for it to get a bit tacky. And then I'm just tucking it right. Wow, I thought that was going to be a lot more of a struggle for my first time applying falsies, but yeah, these little wispies are definitely the way to go. Like, it just makes it so easy to get them exactly where you want. The bands are nice and small for someone with small eyes like me. The fun part will be trying to peel them off my eyeball later, I imagine. Pretty crazy, guys. Pretty crazy. I kinda dig it. I was talking trash about the false lashes, but I'm kinda feeling myself. I'm not gonna lie. Just to try and blend them in a little bit better. We'll have to work it on the correct, angle to place them, but it's kind of cool. Let's wrap this up, because that's all the new things that I have to show you. I'm really digging the little false lashes, guys. I'm a lot more stoked about those than I thought I was gonna be. Because I've just kind of been anti-falsies my whole life up until now. I never really saw the point, but here goes that little extra something. Especially with, these little Kiss Mascara, little corner wispies. They're super easy to apply. That was my first time ever putting on any type of false lash. You saw it here first. Normally I like to use a little cushion foundation blush, which is also Korean Beauty, but I have a lot of powder on my face, so we'll go with a powder blush. So I've got just a little bit on, and for the lips, I'm just gonna go with this ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Alyssa. Struggle's a bit real, getting it on evenly, but alright, I think that's the look. That's everything. Overall, I have to say, I'm not very impressed by most of the products I picked up. I'd heard good things about the e.l.f. concealer and the Wet n Wild foundation, but for my skin types and skin tone, it's just really hard to find a full coverage type foundation that doesn't just look cakey, weird on me up close. You know, everything looks fine on camera because we have all the lights and everything, adding that blurring, airbrushed effect. But this was okay. If I had a better shade, I might work with it more, but it's just too peachy yellow for me. I think I prefer this Wet n Wild one, which is still also too dark, but works a little bit for color correcting. And the primer felt really nice and smooth going on. It definitely seemed to like fill my pores. I'll have to try the Wet n Wild foundation again without anything underneath and see how it looks then, so that I know if it was the primer throwing things off. You know, I had a primer under a dewy foundation, maybe it was something like that. Some ingredients just didn't want to mesh well together. So I'll test those out some more. Concealer, didn't really like. What else? The mascara, not my favorite. I like the Maybelline The Falsies mascara a lot. That's one that I keep going back to. But this one is a miss for me. Get the L'Oreal Luminous Lash Paradise, which also comes in like a rose gold tube, or just get the L'Oreal like Voluminous Million Lashes. That's my holy grail that I need to go back to, because that's the best one that I've found so far. And then what else did we try? Ooh, the Kiss Falscara corner lashes. I actually really like these. For the first time ever wearing any type of false lash, I'm actually really liking the way they look. I'm not gonna lie. I might just pop some of these on in future videos if I'm feeling extra that day. The glue worked really well. I got the one that, yeah, you can see when you're putting it on, so then it dries clear. And then I think they also have one that comes out black. There's a couple different formulas you can try, but the Duo and the Kiss ones are the ones that I always hear raved about from other beauty YouTubers. And yeah, if you want to play around with false lashes, but you're intimidated by like a full strip of lashes, or you're like me and you have like delicate features or hooded eyes, and you're not sure if it would look right on you, definitely give these a try. Like I said, these are the medium length and they're not outlandish on me. So if you even want to just try the short ones, I think those would look really good too. So I'll definitely be bringing those with me to the Moon weekend to wear for photographs and whatnot. So I'm excited about that now. Yeah, I think that was all the new things I tried. Man, this video is going to be forever. Hopefully I can edit it down to a reasonable length, but I hope you had fun. I know this isn't really like super witchy related content, but that's partly why I call my channel Cute Girly Goth, is that I wanted to be able to add in a variety of different things as they strike my fancy, or just as the mood strikes me, and just keep creating content that is the type of content that I like to sit and watch on YouTube, which definitely does include a lot of makeup reviews, first impressions, get ready with me's. Like I said, shout out to Taylor Wynn, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. I don't follow or subscribe to a lot of people on YouTube to the point where I'm like keeping up with their videos as they're released, but she is definitely one that I have followed and loved to watch for a long time. So go check her out if this type of video is something that you are interested in and want more of. She's super laid back, chill vibes, which is what I appreciate about her. I hope that you appreciate this video from me. If you like it and want to see more beauty related Freya Friday content, let me know. And I definitely am looking forward to making more videos when I get back from my next adventure this weekend. So until next time, peace. As always, trust it to the cat to find the one most loudest, crinkliest piece of plastic in the room and decide to lay on it / play with it as soon as I start filming. I have 4 cats, and there's cat hair in everything. I can't tongue pop. It's called Alyssa. I want to do the Alyssa Edwards